Hello there everyone, my name is Amy, this is the Opinionated Woman, and welcome to Crafty Reads, the series where I craft something and we talk about the last 5 books that I've read. Though this episode I'm talking about the last 4 books that I read because I read 104 books last year and I haven't wrapped up the final 4. So this is that Crafty Reads. The craft I'm doing today, I'm crocheting obviously, and I'm using this beautiful dusty blue yarn to make a cloth. My mom is coming to visit in a few weeks and she wants a set of my cotton cloths so that I sell on Real Gay Crochet. If you want to get some for yourself, then links are all down below. They're pure cotton and they can substitute for a lot of like throwaway type of cloths or sponges that you use to do your dishes. I do my dishes exclusively with one of these and it works like a bomb, so I'm not using those plastic sponges anymore. So yeah, just a little shout out to my little business right there. But other than that, let's get into the books. The first book I read was Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Faridah, Abike, Iyimide. I decided when I hit 100 books that I was going to pick the chunkiest book that was on my TBR. Hang on, let's figure this out. Because I had the time to, but oh my god, I raced through this. This is the author of Ace of Spades, which was very much dark academia focusing around race, where this is dark academia that's sapphic and it's based a lot around misogyny and red culture. And so we're following our main character, Sade. She's lost both of her parents and she's decided to go to this very elite boarding school. And she gets there and this girl starts showing her around, her roommate in the dorm who is showing her around, and literally the next day that girl goes missing. So she has to team up with that girl's best friend Basil to try and figure out what happened to her. And they uncover like a really seedy misogynistic underbelly to the school, like to do with secret societies and all that kind of shit. And the atmosphere is wonderful. It also has like a typical sort of like Holy Trinity, like they call them the Holy Trinity. It's this group of girls who are like the it girls at the school, and she catches their attention, specifically one of the girls called Persephone, and yeah, that's a nice little side plot that happens alongside it. But it's spooky, it's really great dark academia. I love black dark academia because so much of dark academia is based around elite whiteness, and Faridah Abike Iyimide takes that style of writing and puts it into a black context. Even though she's a very rich black woman, she still gets affected in different ways to how she would if she was white, and it's so freaking interesting. I was going through those pages so fast. I was literally like, one more chapter, like, this woman's writing, 10 out of 10. Then I read The Garden of Small Beginnings by Abbi Waxman. And this is just a really fun contemporary book that's based around a illustrator called Lily. So she, 3 years before, had lost her husband. She's got 3 small girls, and so she's a single mom. And one of the jobs that she gets at her work is to illustrate a book on vegetable gardening. And she doesn't know anything about this stuff, so her work decides to send her on a gardening course, a vegetable gardening course that she can take her kids to. She's also taking her sister Rachel, who's a very funny character, along with her. And we get to meet a whole cast of really fun, quirky characters that are doing this course, and of course the very handsome man that is doing the course. I don't read a lot of straight romances. I like to read, I don't mind if there's a straight romance in my book, but it needs to be a part of the book. It doesn't need to be the main focus, and this did balance that out really well. It's just Lily, like it's talking about Lily's grief and learning to move on and learning to put yourself first, and to grow as a person and not to be scared that you are like ruining the memory of the person that you lost by moving on and creating a new life for yourself. and I thought it was beautiful. I really liked it. It was just a fun, cozy little read. Then I read Learn by Heart by Emma Donoghue, and I must admit that I was a little bit disappointed by this. Emma Donoghue has written some other great books that I've liked, The Wonder and The Pull of the Stars. I really enjoyed it, and because this is based around a fictionalized version of Anne Lister going to school, I immediately thought that I would absolutely put this on my favorite books of the year. Anne Lister is a very famous lesbian from the 1800s who kept diaries, and her diaries were only saved because another gay relative who was in the closet managed to save her work. So now we have this history of this queer woman living in times where being a queer woman just was not accepted in any way, shape or form. And this book takes place when she's at school, but it's not following Anne as the main character. It's following Eliza, her roommate, as the main character. And Anne moves into the room with her, and they very quickly fall in love. And there's a lot of this is just everyday school things, because they're all at this boarding school. It's very much like humdrum everyday school stuff, and then with little bits of their relationship sprinkled in throughout it. And after finishing this book, it finishes quite abruptly, but after finishing this book, she does an afterword that's quite long, and tells a story about like what actually happened between Eliza and Anne, because Eliza was a real person, even though this is fictionalized. And it gets really messy and complicated later on, and I kind of wish that the book had been a little bit longer and hadn't followed so much of the humdrum sort of like school part of the story, and maybe shown us a little bit after school. So like maybe spend the first half of the book in school and the second half of the book with the drama that happened afterwards, because like as with everything to do with Anne Lister, drama follows that woman, followed that woman. So I kind of wish that it had been structured like that, so we could have got a little bit more of the entertaining side that we got hinted at in the afterword. I think it would have been a more successful book in that way. And in the last book that I read, oh my god, these have all been queer. Wait. The Garden of Small Beginnings is not queer, but the other three are. That's really funny. I just pick up gay books non-stop. Like it's what I gravitate to. I'm a lesbian, for crying out loud. So the last book that I read for 2024 was The Companion by EE Ottoman. This is from a trans author. And it's about a polyamorous triad of a cis woman, a trans woman, and a trans man. And their transness is not actually addressed at all. We just, through some very steamy scenes, get to see who has what. And then you realize who's trans, who has what. So I really didn't realize that this was so spicy. Like if you look at this cover, it doesn't look like it's going to be really spicy, but a lot of the story is very well written sex scenes. And I'm not much of a person who likes spice in my books, but if you like historical fiction and to read about queer people and polyamory and want a bit of spice in your books, then this is definitely one for you to pick up. The audiobook was only 4 hours long. So we're following our main character, whose name I can't remember. I can't remember her name. So we're following our main protagonist, who comes to be a companion for a guy named Victor. This is the trans man, and very soon they become sexually entangled. And then she meets Audrey, who lives on the neighboring plot of land. This is like in the countryside. And they also very quickly become sexually involved. And Victor and Audrey used to be together. They used to date. And then circumstances split them apart. But through this companion that Victor has hired, they become entangled once more, and they form a polyamorous triad in the 50s. I think it's in the 50s. And it was just a fun, sexy time. And I thought it was pretty well executed. Like, there are so many books where I read the sex scenes and I'm like, I want to die. This is so awkward. But these ones were really well done. And it's just nice to see transness so casually placed into a book and like not making it a big deal at all. I just thought that was really well done. And I had a good old time reading it. And that has very quickly gone by. That's how much cough I've done. That's gone by very, very quickly. I think trying to learn to adjust the way that I waffle, as well as only talking about 4 books really helped. So, welcome to 2025 Crafty Reads. My next Crafty Reads will be the books that I've read, the first 5 books that I've read in 2025. 5 in 2025. If you want more from me, as I said, my crochet links are down below, along with my TikTok and my Instagram, which I'm very prolific on. I post there almost every day, at least on TikTok. Along with my Kofi link, which is a one-time tip jar if you ever want to support my channel. But other than that, like and subscribe, all of that fun stuff, and I'll check you next time.